Hi there, Robin here from Expert On. Today we've got Behringer on the table. We've got EUROLIVE both in a 15-inch sub and a 12-inch top. Now, this is the actual B212D from Behringer, and this one here is the VQ1500D from Behringer. Now, you get 500 watts here, no BS power. You get 550 watts over here. Now, we're going to do sound tests on this at the end. So that's what's going to happen on the second half of the video, but on the first half I thought I'd tell you a little bit about these speakers and why they might be right for you. So if you're looking for a speaker for if you DJ for fun, which basically means you don't get a paycheck off of it, and you do it for family, friends, and for your own parties, these might be some really good options for you. If you're looking for speakers for a school gymnasium for as they like to say, sound reinforcement, you just need to get louder. Different people need to use the product. It's in a locked room that people have access to, and they bring it out and set it up. You want it to be as easy as possible and to fill in a large amount of space. This would probably be a good product for you. If you're just going out and you're doing announcements outside and you've got power options there and you want to have a strong, durable product that's going to get that across, this might be the right product for you. So there you go. That gives you some lowdown on it. Now, price is the biggest thing. When you're on a budget or you're looking for something fun and easy to use and you don't want to spend a ton of money doing it, this is a great way to get a ton of volume. And if you put them together in the US, this is a $600 package. Buy one of these, and now you've got yourself a pretty good system. So what's going on here? 12-inch with a horn on top of it, tweeter horn right there, ported, solid, easy. It's all made out of a good hard plastic. Very durable. You can set it up as a monitor or you can have it up as a PA speaker. If you buy a bunch of them, you need to put them away. They are stackable. They build it that way, and it even has a fly wire attachment if you got to hang this from somewhere. On the bottom, it's got a pole mount right here. So, and it even has a tension screw. Don't over tighten this if it's your first PA speaker. This is just to put on snug. You're not trying to dent the pole. You just don't want it to spin around. That's what's going on there. Handles on both sides, makes it easy to carry, weighs roughly around 40 pounds. Now, 550 watts, again, a lot of other brands are newer than this brand here when it comes to model series, and they've gone into an internet race with who can put the biggest number on the internet, and then inside the actual details, they tell you what the RMS is, or they don't tell you at all, and they kind of leave it very vague. The actual EUROLIVE is tagged as is. This is a 550 watt amp plate pushing the system, and that's what you're going to get. It's bi-amped, so this way you do have one amp that's proportionally separated just to run the horn, and then you have another one just to run the bass. That allows them to keep the crossover working properly, and that allows them for some of the features on the back to be controlled. So you do have, on the back, still a bass and treble control on it, and they do have a built-in DSP, so they've decided what the recipe of the sound they think is going to work best in this box against those speakers. They've incorporated that on the actual circuit board inside. To keep the price as tight as possible, and they do that on purpose, is here you are. You've got one single line input with one single line output. So I can either plug in a line or a mic, doesn't matter which way. I'm going to get to control that through the actual level knob here. 12 o'clock is what they call unity, and unity for the line input is basically where we're going to equal the amount of preamp power they expect you to have in there. Now, they do put a clip light, which basically tells you you're pumping it too much. If that light goes on a little bit, you're okay. If it goes on a lot, you're really pushing the system, and you probably should back off a little bit. There is a second little green LED there, which is the power LED. Now, again, we had a 1/4 inch and an XLR here. Again, I can use a mic either way through the 1/4 or the XLR. And if I'm using the mic, then I'm going to go past that 12 o'clock unity and read the fact that it says microphone on the other side. And I'm going to be up here. Their full volume is going to be at the top. So remember, if you're plugging in a mixer or controller, or you're plugging something directly into it, and you're playing music from that, let's say, or an announcement, then that would be considered a line input. If you're plugging a microphone, and that's going to be on the next section from 12 o'clock to basically back down here to 5 o'clock. So that's different. If it's not a microphone, it's a line. That's pretty straightforward there. So there we go. So that's the back. I do really like the button on their systems. Their buttons are built really well. They're recessed a little bit, so there's no accidental turning it off. Again, the other big benefit to it is the ease of use. It's a great learning speaker, and if you're using this in a school, let's say, or a church, you don't have to get the music teacher to come out and set it up for you, or the person in charge of the equipment to always come and get this set up. Just make sure that you run at 12 o'clock and you're fine, and just adjust it depending on the situation. So, pretty straightforward. I like it. Nice and easy. For the subwoofer, pretty much the same story. Remember the price point in the States, $250. This one's $350. That makes a $600 package. Now, with the subwoofer, it's all about getting the recipe right. And the recipe with a subwoofer is the right driver in the right box against the right amp. Get those three pieces in the right proportions, you're going to end up with a really good subwoofer. Do it wrong, try and put an amp that's too powerful in the back, or try to build a box that's too small or too big against the driver, and you're going to get a very fluttery, loose sounding speaker, or a speaker that requires a lot of power to get anything out of it. I think that Behringer got the combination really done up well here, even to the size of the ports that are in the front. It allows for maximum air to push out of the system without creating a loose sound from the driver. So that's when the subwoofer sounds all fluttery and distorted, and just you can hear it, it just sounds bad. So that's not going to happen with this. Now remember, proportionate to how you're using it. Again, I'm not going to go out and DJ with this and get paid for it. That's not my intention, but if I need something for the workshop, for the garage, for the rec room, for the garage band setup, or for the studio, that sort of thing, and I need to add that extra bass in there, this is going to do an amazing job. Put them together again, like I said before, that much better. So that's what's going on here. Metal grill, doesn't vibrate or nothing at all. I'm not getting any distortions from here, and I'm not getting any fluttering of sound from the ports. It is carpeted, and it's the only one that we have that's carpeted outside of the 18-inch version of this guy, but that's okay, can live with it. It's the price, and like I said, it works, and it works well, and it does exactly what I expected it to do, so that's very important. Handles are good, and when I mean handles good, there's enough bolt holes that this over time isn't going to break loose, or the important thing is it's dense enough and thick enough that I'm not getting any vibration distortion of sound from here. You tend to get sometimes rattles out of a bad handle or a cheap handle design. So it does its job really well, bolted straight through, really good. Rubber feet. I put coasters underneath this, so if you have to move it around a lot, find the coasters. They're on Amazon. The reason I put coasters is that I have to pick this up all the time to turn it around. If it's on coasters, I can slide it around anywhere on this table or on the carpet. Now, we get to the back, we're now to the amp plate. So it's a metal framed amp plate, bolted on really well. Again, we're not getting any distortion, vibrations, we're not getting any puffs of air through the inputs or outputs on it, which is really good. This is going to make sure that it sounds good even at lower volumes or when we really crank it up loud. 6 jacks on the back of them. 2 of them are inputs, 4 of them are outputs. Now, the 2 inputs are XLR, and they're based on a line input system, so I can either run them in mono or stereo by using 1 or 2 jacks. That also allows me to hook up more subwoofers, or if I need a straight line output to another speaker, I can do that with the through pass right here. That's the AB option right next to the AB option line input. Then after that, we're going to get our actual second output options, which are crossover setup. So these are going to be adjusted against this magic knob down here. Now, what that means, if I want to put this on top, I want to get an extra 20%. So if we're looking for volume, I want to get an extra 20% out of this. By plugging that in from here, so my controller, mixer, or computer, whatever I'm plugging in goes on the input, then instead of using the first output to go here, I use the second output. I can then take a little bit of the bass out of here, keep it in here, and get a little bit more volume out of there. Normally it's also used for balancing out the sound quality. So I proportionately want to have so much bass against so much mids and highs, and this is how I'm going to do it. But it's also a great way to cheat and get more volume out of your tops. Now the knob above it, that's our bass boost. They allow you to have a variable gain on that, and they allow you to turn it on and off. So what that means is by just turning it on, I can decide anywhere from 40 hertz and less all the way up to 90 hertz and less to add a little bit extra. So if I'm playing at lower volumes, or I'm playing an instrument, let's say that not very bassy, but I do want to add because I'm in a very empty space and I want to give it a little bit more punch on the bottom end, I could do that. But remember, when you do that, you're going to have to dial off a little bit on the line input, and that's the next knob. So here, during our demo, I ran at 3/4. Now, on the mixer that's hooked up to the camera, I actually turned it down a little bit because the MPM 3000 condenser microphone that we used to pick up the ambient sound was just redlining it all the time against the bass that was coming out of here. So I actually decided to turn the mic down a little bit. This way you still captured as much of the bass as possible. But for the unit itself, if I'm going to turn up my bass boost, I'm going to turn down my level. So if I'm not using the bass boost, I had no problems running it at 75% and bringing the actual mixer up to unity. Amazingly enough, again, I never turned it for the actual demo up to unity. It was just way too loud, way too bassy. The roof in this building was just rattling like crazy, and I didn't want that coming across on the camera when you guys are watching it at home. So just let you know, we only ran it at minus 15 dB, and I kept this at 75%. I kept this at 75%. I kept the mixer at minus 10 dB. This way, just so the actual, it sounded good when it came across the microphone. It's not that it didn't sound good in the room, it just, the condenser microphone couldn't handle it. All right, so that's pretty much everything we can talk about. I mean, we can go on forever, but when it comes to these speakers, but we're gonna actually go to the actual live sound test. Remember, we've got a Marantz MPM 3000 hooked up to the mixer, which is then hooked up to the camera. We're picking up the live ambient sounds. I'm gonna turn my body pack off, of course, to do the actual demo. So this way you get to hear everything the way it sounds in the actual showroom. For the bass portion with the subwoofer, I did turn down the mixer a little bit, so this way it picked up the sound of the bass without distorting the microphone. And then afterwards we went back to normal for just the top. So I'll see you at the end of the video. Remember, at any point in time, if you'd like to learn more about these speakers, like current pricing where you are, just look down below. We'll have all the links for that for you, and we'll also have links back to our website. And you know what? You can always subscribe. You can always watch some of our other videos if you're interested in looking for any type of speakers, mixers, or anything like that. So I'll see you at the end of the video. So there we are. So the sound test portion's all over. Remember, the first half of that was with the subwoofer, and the second half of that was with just the top. Don't forget, now, just like any time, it's always a good time to subscribe. And if you really want to know when the next video is going to happen, hit that bell button. If you've never hit it before, now's a good time. You'll see what happens on your phone or on your computer the next time I upload a video. Besides that, remember, all the links are down below for you to help you out. By this point in time, there's other videos showing up on the screen. We've got all kinds of different comparisons and demos of all types of products when it comes to making noise. So, see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.